Well, it says I have 5 folks on, but nobody wants to chat. Hi, Georgina. How's it going, sweetie? Oh, there's Sid and there's Chris and Brandy. I'm doing pretty good today. My legs have been a little stiff because I was in the car most of last week with the company, and so they weren't real thrilled with not getting to move around too much. But that's the way it works some days, right? But they're just a little stiff. They're not. There's not a big deal with them. But we're going to work on a relatively simple project. We're going to make a band circlet today. Now, if you haven't ever made a band circlet, what we're using is this, I thought it was still close, but it's not. This artistic wire, the flat wire, just sort of like that. And a few odds and end little pieces to go on it. Now we're going with gold this time because some of the pieces the main piece we're using is this little guy right here. That's our main decoration. And it has like a bronzy gold casing. So we're going to just use the gold. We may need to file it down a little more. Let's see. How flat are you sitting on there? Maybe a little bit. So what we need to do is, well, I'm going to do this part first because working with wire, I sometimes go off screen because I'm trying to get it closer to me, and I don't want to do that too much for you guys. So what we're doing here is I'm trying to straighten this piece of wire out some. It's a big piece of flat wire. I'm going to take, hey Beth, and we're going to, what was that? I always have to exit if I pull it up early, but I'm here. Okay, hi Heather. Hey Cynthia. Hey Beth. So we're going to take our head and we're going to take our piece of wire. We're going to center it about where it would lay, and then we're going to bring it around to the back, like so. Now we've crisscrossed there. We don't want to crisscross. In fact, we want just a teeny bit of a gap. So we're going to make sure we've got this at the spot we want it. Bring it up here, and then I'm going to put my finger right here where I want this to be cut at. So right there, I've got metal cutters. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to clip this extra wire off. There we go. It's gone. So now let's turn down. The rest of it I think we can do on down here because I don't have as long a piece of wire. So let's just go down to the mat and we'll get working on this. I assume you mean Dorothy understands that you mean that you left Dorothy and came over here and she understands why. Okay, we're going down. Okay. I'm not going to pull it up some because we're going to need all the space we have. Mainly because I tend to pull, when I'm working with wire, I tend to pull it close to me so I can see what I'm doing better. This is what we're going to make. I've just got a quick sketch out here. So this is this piece right here, this little guy. And then we have a teardrop with a bead cap. to hang off that loop. This will go this way, of course, because we're going to hang off this loop here. Then I have, oh, it's over here. And it's not open. So this is going to sit like so on our wire. Then we're going to have to decide how much of a strand of this we want. But this is green cup chain, so it's going to match our beads and such. And it's going to go on either side right here, tucked right up to this. And then I'm going to decide how long I want. And then when I get to the end, we'll put a flatback crystal, a dark green flatback crystal here as well. So that's our front of what our front's going to look like. Well, we can take the other side and you come back here. It's going to go here and here. And then, like I said, we'll have a flatback crystal wherever we cut this off at, sitting at the end. So, and all this is going to be sitting glued on our band. Then I have a extender for the end of it, and a lobster, and some so this bead cap is going to sit on our guy right here. I've got a couple of little daisy spacers, because this is going to have one daisy spacer at the bottom. Then we're going to go through all this good stuff here. We'll have another daisy spacer right up here at the top. And then we're going to, actually I'll just do it right now since we already have this put together. We'll just bring this over, and then we're going to wrap it, and it's going to go on here. Now, I haven't decided yet if I want to put this on with a jump ring or if we just want to hardwire it. If we want to hardwire it, we'll probably want to do it first, because we're going to be gluing this on with E6000, and it needs to dry for a little while. So it's going to just hang sort of like this. In the front, they call these fairy drops. So bring this around. So it would go right on here and hang down in the forehead area. And because I do need to sand this a little more, it's got a bit of a bump right there, and we are going to glue it on. I could just do it right now and get it, since it's on there anyway, and get it over and done with. So hey, Suze. Hi, Tina. So we're going to wrap this up. We're a little crooked. We need this to hang straight. So there's our little fairy drop on our piece here. Now this piece was all connected, and I actually had to cut it apart to get this piece off. And I did sand down a lot of it, but there is a bump right there. See where this sits? And we need it to be as flat as possible because it's going to be sitting on the band. So I'm going to take hold of it right here and file this bump down. Hey, Kimberly. How's the smoke today? We had a thunderstorm last night and it's been pouring down rain. So I'm hoping that it will take care of all the smoke. It does help a lot when that happens. So I'm hoping that that'll get out of my face. But the eyes are still a little bit oofy this morning. So anyway, we're going to put this cup chain away. I haven't decided how long of a piece we want yet. We'll put it to the side. And like I said, here's our picture of what we're doing. So now we're got to go back to our little band here. We've got this ready to be put on. Here's our pieces for the back and our extender chain. Now what I want to do here, again, we're in that spot where we can hardly see. We want to cut the very corners of this off where we've cut it here. Just a little bit. So it's not got that sharp edge right there. Now this one could come off a little bit more. I have to be careful with these because I tend to pull, when I pull things close to me, I tend to, these are a little longer than a normal plier, you know, because they're a metal shear. And I tend to pinch myself with this spot right here. So I have to be careful when I'm working with these. So now we've got that done. What we want to do is get our file out again, and we need to file down these sharp edges here where we just cut it. Sounds like I have a kitty being sick again. Hairballs, you know. Though the last time I thought I heard one, I went look and couldn't find one. So, but now, if you got the Beetle on Mystery Pack, you probably got some of this flat wire. You can make yourself a crown for the day. Or anybody else, if you know anybody else who you wish to crown, so to speak. So there is this part, and I forgot to get one tool out I need. So let's see if I can find it relatively easily. What we need is a hole punch. And actually, before we even bother getting the hole punch out, I'm going to take my Sharpie, and I'm going to put a little dot right in the middle here. That's not quite middle. That's more middle. And then we're going to punch a hole through right there where I put the little dots at. You get over there. Oh, come on. Now what I need is my hole punch, and I forgot to get it out, so it's at the probably way at the bottom of my toolbox here, of course, because where else would it be, right? There we go. For some reason, this side's thing likes to fall out. Now, you can make this a bigger hole or a smaller hole, depending on how you want to do it. You do got to remember you have to put jump rings in. So, like I said, this bar likes to fall out for some reason. So, you can choose whether you think it's good with a smaller or if you need it bigger. Now, if you're not sure, one thing you can do is go in here with your smaller one, punch a smaller hole, and then if it ends up being a little bit too small, you can always take and repunch with the bigger hole. But of course, you can't oops, that moved. You can't make a big hole smaller, but you can make a small hole bigger. So, darn it, it keeps sliding. Come on, get where I need you to be. I have a Renaissance festival in 2 weeks, so I got to get some circlets made. Okay. So once I get it where I think it's good, we just punch a hole through. Doesn't take much. This is pretty. So we have our hole through this side. We're going to have to give it a little bit of a file because this side will be a little bit sharp where it punched through at. And since that's going to be the back of the head, we don't want that to be sharp. Oh, I'm sorry, Kimberly. Hey, Anita. Hi, Bonnie. We haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you. She was not. They're giving you crud, Bonnie. She wasn't involved in it. She had to have sinus surgery. We're what now? About 5 days out, Kimberly, from having your surgery. It was last Friday, I believe. So, okay. I know this is hard to see what I'm doing here because I'm way up close to the camera, but I'm trying to get this centered in my metal here. So, did you stay put? I thought I just felt you move. Yep, you're fine. Okay. We got our holes punched in here. And now we have them filed down. So this step is all the ending stuff here. So I've got a piece of extender chain, a lobster claw, and 2 jump rings. Now, I don't need this big of a jump ring for this where I have the lobster claw at. So I was debating if I wanted to because sometimes when you put the hole in, you need a little bit of extra space there, but I think we're good without it. So 5 days. That's what I thought. It was 5 days. So let's see. 5 days for you today. Dawn just had knee replacement for her second knee replacement, and that was yesterday, I believe. So I'm going to put this on here just like you would any necklace or whatever. Put our jump ring on. Oh, come on, you. Maybe I should have stuck with the bigger one. It wants to be difficult here. There we go. I think we got it. Okay. There's our lobster on. Oh, nope, it's a little crooked. I can see now that I'm holding it here. So we want that on good. Now, I always finish these with extender chain because the biggest reason is because people's heads are different sizes. And you're never sure what size you're going to need. And in fact, I've had to add more extender chain to these before when I've made them because of people's head sizes. Now, this is much better with a swivel lobster, but I don't know if I have any left. I could check, but I don't know. So here's our head back. We're going to put it on here, and it's actually bigger than I need it to be. So we could do this one of two ways. I could just leave it as it is, which I probably will do, because like I said, some people have larger heads than others. Or we could cut one side down. I'm not going to. It's too much of a pain in the rear. But this side is a little bit wonked, this metal here. So let's see if I can get it to fix. So there we go. Now we need to find our middle. I really do want to see if I have a swivel lobster left. I think I might have, but I'm not sure where I put them at. I'll worry about it later. It's not a big deal. So we need to find the middle. If I'm going to make this smaller, this is the time to do it because of I do have to find the middle now. And if I want it smaller, and I just want to take it off one side, which is what I would normally do if I'm making things smaller, I would want to do it now because the next part I have to go to the middle. What did you guys do? Might as well have been a folding couch. You guys are being naughty. Oh, excuse me. Now, I'm still trying to debate if I want to make this smaller or not because I do like it to sit on my the head here pretty comfortably. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to bump. And we are obviously, oh, I obviously didn't get it as small, cut it as small as I thought. But if we put it at an angle down here, still could be shortened about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. You guys can't see what I'm talking about. Here we go. See how we have a big gap right there, and it's just hanging down. That'll let it fall off of my head piece here. So I could cut it off just a little bit more and get it more to the size I want so that it doesn't slip on this when I'm photographing it, or any other time for that matter, because I do take one of these heads to the shows with me so I can put one on it so people can see what it looks like. Not this girl. She's all banged up from being used to make circlets, but I do have one that is more new, so to speak. I think I am going to take just a touch off of this one just because it's a pain. And I'm actually going to take it off of this side because even though this is the side I have the lobster hook to, I'm going to try and find a swivel lobster. That's what I prefer to use for these because it swivels around and lets it lay flat better. So we're going to, actually, I'm just going to take my shears and we're just going to cut it right here on the other side of my little loop. And that should give us plenty. Put this aside. Now we need to do our little notches on either side. If you make these, do not get your hand stuck in these. These are worse than flush cutters. These cut metal. Well, so do flush cutters. They all cut metal. But now we need our little dot in the middle. And punch a new hole. So again, we're going to get this over that little dot I put in there, or try to anyway, and get it centered up here. Come here. And I know I'm way close to you guys, and I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I do need to get in there and center it as much as possible. There we go. Come off. Okay. I'm not going to bother to put that other side on yet, for one thing, because I think I'm going to find a different lobster claw. And I know I have some swivels, and they're gold, but I'm not sure if they're in the regular case or if I have them somewhere else. But now the thing we need to do is measure the band and get to the middle. Now these are pretty easy to measure because they are flat, the wire is, as opposed to regular wire, which is, you know, it's rounded, it's smaller, it doesn't let you get around it so easily. So this is 19 inches, so we need 9.5 to get middle. So we'll just go backwards, and we're at 9.5 is right here. Now what to do with the Sharpie? There it is. So right there is 9.5. Cool. Did Dorothy join us? I didn't see her come in. Oh, there she is. Hi, Dorothy. Blue skies, breezy, and 70. Well, we're raining. Not that I'm complaining, because it's getting rid of the smoke. So now what we need to do is stop. We have to glue this little piece right here where I've put that dot down. And then we're going to decide how long we want our cup chain to be. So I'm just going to get a little E6000 out. Oh, you come on, open. It's very good at gluing itself closed too. Come on. I didn't think I got anything on the threads, but obviously I did. There we go. Now I'm going to put the glue on this piece here. And then we're just going to take hold of it and put it into place right here. And we're going to have to hold it for a while. I'm not sure if one of my clothespins would work on this or not. Never have tried it. They're probably too small. Oops. Broke it. Those ones are glued closed. I can sometimes get them to open up, but if I can't, then I just throw them away. They're not real expensive to replace them. Let's see if it'll stay up here on here. I'm not sure it's going to. It seems to want to move around too much. Well, this would appear to be one of those ones you have to hold, unfortunately, because it takes a while. Let's see if I can find a way to prop it up so it will stay. No. Ooh. Don't get glue on things, Rose. Like this is one of those times I need a bigger clothespin so it will hold it better. But we got what we got, right? Ugh. Dang you. Guess I shouldn't have stuck the piece on yet. It's giving it too much weight and it wants to pull it down. Make sure you're in the right spot, right there. We're getting a little gluey mess around it, but that's sort of all right because you can pull it off once it dries for a little while, the extra glue. But in the meantime, you gotta let it sit. Let's see if we can get you to sit this way and hold you in place some. No, don't do that. Oops. Darn it. I don't want to have to cut that crystal off, but I may have to because it doesn't want to, it's putting too much weight on it and it won't let it sit. So it may just be what we have to do is cut the crystal off so that it'll sit on here better. Can we make rings this week? I suppose. What do these sell for? Usually around $40. It depends on how much stuff I put on them. Whether the more expensive stuff I put on them, then the more it costs, of course. But this is, I think, going to have to be cut off so that this piece will stay put until it dries enough to stay where I want it to be at. Because it wants to keep falling off because of the weight of the crystal. Now the glue has got stickier from just starting to dry, and so it is sticking there pretty good, but I'm not sure there's actually enough that I'm happy with the amount of glue that's on there, because it actually took a lot off as it fell and came off. So. Okay. So then I have to decide how much cup chain I want. This is also going to be glued on. It's going to go down the side just like this. Stick right there in that little curve and go down the edge a bit. And that looks about what I want it probably to be. So we're going to just cut a couple of these pieces off. Not these ones. These are too big. So these are going to go like this. Now go into that little curve right there and go down the side here to about right here on either side. So let's see how long I made these, because that'll be how much glue I need to put up here. And I can feel that wiggling under my finger a little bit. So up you go, back up there. Go. Right here. Do the same on the other side here, and you're sliding again, my little one. Come on. Excuse me. And I actually should have my silicone mat down since I'm using a lot of glue here, but I don't. But I'm going to get it. Before I drip glue all over my regular mat, we're going to get that out. Whoop. I obviously have a little glue on my finger because it just went flying. So let's see if we can get you put back in place here so that the others can know where their spot's going from. And then we'll put our cup chain right into where there's a little groove in this green stone piece. And it's going to go up and around. And I obviously made my line a little further than I planned on, but that's all right. I've got some more stuff to put on here. So now let's keep you in place. Put this guy right in the groove on this side. Come on, go down in there. There we go. And now now see, this one is about the right spot, but you moved. We don't want moving. Get back into your place. There we go. So there's the cup chain going along the edge there, and then we need 2 crystals for either side. And we'll have this baby, well, we'll have to put the new jump ring over there, but I mean the new end piece, but that's blue. Come on, I need green. Excuse my sniffles. That sneeze started them up. Where's my green tray? Oh, I think it's way down there at the bottom. Nope, that's brown. Orange. Blue. Interesting. My green seems to have left the building. We'll find it. Or we'll change colors. And the other. There we go. Green. How you guys doing? You stay in place? Oh, pretty good. Slipped a little, but that's all right. We can fix that. Everything else is staying pretty good. Yeah, I think this will work. So now we have some extra glue on this side. So I'm just going to take this flat back and put it right over this end right here. Uh-oh, fell off. The glue may be too dry already. If it is, that's all right. We'll just add some new. Now it looks to be good. There we go. But my cup chain's wiggling a little bit. There we are. This side needs a touch more glue for its crystal to sit on. This one probably will be 45 rather than 40 because I put all the extra goodies on it here. But that's all right. Come here, you. I can't find my tweezers I usually use for my crystals. I don't know. After I changed my mats, they disappeared. I'm not sure where I put them at. So are you straight? You're a little crooked there. You need to move that direction some. You're good. So now, excuse me, this baby needs to dry some, and then we need to clean the extra glue off. So, okay, Brandy, I noticed your comment that you went to the doctor today, and they said you had the beginnings of pneumonia. So take care of yourself, hon. So there is our band Circlet. I do need to put the new lobster claw on it, and we need to get any excess glue cleaned off. And yes, there will be excess glue, but we're going to give it a little bit because we don't want to knock things around too much prior to it drying really well. So I'll just sit it back down, let it dry for a while. Now these little guys, since they're on fresh glue, especially this one, because this one had some glue still there, so it stuck pretty good on what it was, is going to try and move for a while because it's still goopy. But I think it turned out nicely. I like it. So here's what it's going to look like. I don't know how well you guys can see it. But there we go. Straighten it a little bit. And like I say, the glue has to dry about 15 minutes, and then we can probably pull off any excess that's, hanging around the edges some. And I need to get a new, find a new lobster claw for it. I'm going to put this down here so it can sit right there like that. And I know I saw the other day that I found a whole little bottle of the gold swivel ones, but of course I don't see them right now because I want them. Isn't that the way it always goes? But we'll get them later. But I do take extra extender chain when I go to the shows because sometimes you just, they just are not big enough. And, well, there's none in there where I was hoping it was at, but it wasn't. By the way, I did do some braiding on some Ceylon the other day for doing some macrame, and I think the colors are pretty. So I'm going to probably macrame a bracelet using this one of these days soon. And I have an extra cup chain away. How you doing there, babe? Okay, now I have a mess in my crystal drawer. I'm gonna really have to straighten that up. I was thinking I just got, where did I put them? I just got them. I got some new hair comb blanks. These are the little ones, the 5s. These are actually my favorites to make. I do have 10s that I make too, obviously, but these are the 5s. This one's a little bit. I hate that when they get bent in shipping like things. But, which is weird because this was the second one rather than the top one. But, yeah. You're a little bent too, but not as bad. See if we can straighten this one up a little bit more. It's a little crooked here. These guys, what I was thinking, let's go sideways with you so you're not in the way so much. You'll recall the other day when I got my order, I got a whole bunch of, from Feedbox Bargains, I got a whole bunch of, where are they? I got a whole bunch of little pieces that I thought would be good for making combs for Christmas and such. I got some charms, so well, that's not them. Those that, well, you know, maybe we want to do this one first. We got some little red trucks with the trees, and well, those are more Halloween. There's a black cat with a heart. And I guess I got these from Auntie's Beads, and some little snowmen. Seems to me I got something else too, but it doesn't matter right now. What we want to do is, you sit aside so you're not in the way. Don't knock it off. Is we want to get some and decide if we want to make some Christmas ones. Nah, these are too big. These need to go either on a hair barrette or a or one of the bigger ones. These butterflies here for ink, I'm going to use for ink, one for anklet, one for bracelet, I think. Or might make it both an anklet, just put one bead between and then bead from there. We'll see. Anyway, what I want to do, oh, I didn't want the black kitties either. We're going to cut the loops off of these. Let me go for the sugar skulls. Make one with devil ears. You need a Christmas circlet to wear during your lives. So I need to get a background piece, but these are gonna sit on our hair combs. I might just make them go a little bit crooked so they're not so big looking. Or we can use, but these ones need to have these connectors cut off. Now these are enamel, so when you cut things off of enamel pieces, you want to be careful you don't knock the enamel because it will pop off to a degree. So my sugar skulls have their piece of banding here off. And I need to find a base piece for these. Now these could go on alligator clips too if I wanted to put them on alligator clips. But I think they're going to go on hair combs. Now we need our file. Oh, come on, file. Where are you? I just had you. There we go. I should have got a couple of these pair of these sugar skulls because they, like I said, they go good on alligator clips as well as on the hair combs and hair barrettes. These ones are even small enough sugar skulls. They look good on just one of them on a tiny hair barrette. And if I remember right, when I bought these, they had two colors of the sugar skulls, but I don't know if they have any left or not. I got these at Auntie's Beads. I think they were just $1 for the pair. Yeah, $1 for the pair. Now, let's see if these will work for a base piece. I think they're fine. So these will just get glued right onto here, and then our sugar skull will get glued onto it, like so. Ah, where did I get these? The sugar skulls? From Auntie's Beads. Okay. I'm just going to put a little strand of E6000 across the top of these. And I'm going to let it dry for just a hair's breadth, not for very long, but just a little bit. And that will make it be more sticky and as opposed to more runny. And then these will stick down really fast, easier. Okay. Now I'm going to see about getting some of this excess glue up because this has been sitting for a while. It might be long enough. Let's see if it glops or if it comes up relatively easily. Now, if you get this at just the right point, if you work it and leave it for too long, it becomes really hard to get off. If you try taking it off too soon, it's a big gloppy mess. Oops, not that much. Just enough to get the edge clean here. Now, as you can see, I'm holding it down somewhat as I'm pulling it up because it's still wet and it's going to try and bring everything up if you're not careful. But we just want to get this extra stuff that's sitting on the edges here that looks a little bit tacky. We don't want that there. Come on, you. Just that little bit. There we go. Not even sure I'm going to pull anything off of this side because there's a little bit right there I want off though. The cup chain is hiding any excess glue pretty well. But there we go, that's better. There's still a spot I don't like right here. I can feel it along the edge here. Ooh, that came off a lot more than I thought. After you do this, don't forget to pull the extra glue off your tweezers, because if you don't, this isn't entirely dry. It will dry on your tweezers and then you'll have this mess stuck to your tweezers. There's a little bit right there I want out. There we go. Right here. Not all of it. There we go. Okay. I think I'm relatively pleased with that. Now this stuff has probably been drying plenty long enough for our piece to stick on here without sliding all over the place. So this is our middle tooth, so we want the middle of our piece here to be there. So a little bit lower. Now, I like my hair combs to be in pairs because a lot of people wear them on either side of their head. And one with garnets for your birthday. So now we're going to just glue our sugar skulls onto here. Now, a lot of times when I'm using, like, these are gold, I might have used silver or bronze as a background color because they'd stand out better. But we used gold on these, so that's all right. Go in the middle. Oh. Oh, come on, you. You were coming out real fast a second ago. Now you want to be sticky and not come out. Come on. There we go. So there's our sugar skull hair combs. Now these have to dry. I don't think there's any excess glue needs pulled off of these guys. So sugar skulls and ta-da, there is a little bit right there that should come off. It looks like extra glue. What I did with the tweezers, here they are. Put my hand right here and hold these in place while I go after this extra little bit of glue that I could feel and see right here. Okay, that's better. So, see how we're doing as far as time is concerned. Oh, we're just a little over the hour. Not too horribly bad. But I do need to find the swivel lobster claws, which I believe are up here on my bench up here somewhere in a spot where, of course, they don't want to be seen right now. No, you don't. That's not what I want. Go back away there. So, simple pair of hair combs and a really pretty little band circlet today. Now, if you got some of the flat wire and you want to, do something like this, you can usually get 2 of them out of one of these packages. This is the antique brass. But if it's for yourself and you wouldn't even need an extender chain, you just got to need to measure your head, make sure you get the right length of the flat wire. You were born on your birthday, Tina? That's good. So was Bonnie. Stop it. Camera keeps refocusing. Not sure what it's trying to focus on right now. Okay, I think this is dry enough. I don't have to play with it too much more. There is a little extra glue right here on the back. But if you catch it again when it's lightly dry, just barely dry, so it's still sticky, you can rub your finger over it and it will wiggle around, and sometimes that extra little bit will pull off there. But I don't really care about the back too much, so I'm not going to worry about it. There's a little piece right here, though. Come here. So it has to finish drying, and I have to find that swivel lobster because I know I have one. And then we have our little sugar skull hair combs. Did I get some glue stuck on you? There we go. Get that off of you. This is bad. This glue, well, it's not really bad. I can get it off easily, but this glue is not from this set. It's from the glue from the Circlet. Did you just wiggle? You look a little wiggled. Maybe not. So. Can I put the link for the combs on my Facebook page? Yeah, they're from Amazon. They're just 5-tooth metal hair combs, but yeah, I can put it on if I remember. I'm notorious for forgetting things, but anyway, here is our picture that I drew out. It's actually a better drawing in my book that I have for circlets, but this one I did up. I just woke up in the middle of the night, and so I scribbled this down. I keep these little notebooks by my bed just for that reasoning. So I think she turned out pretty good. So let's turn up. I don't think I'm gonna do any more today. Come on, flip. There we go. Hope we can go down just a hair's breadth more. So here's what it looks like. I do have to put the new lobster claw on the back, but other than that, it's finished. I think my crystal's just a touch crooked, so we're going to have to see if I can straighten it, but I'm not going to really do too much right now because I don't want to knock it loose. It's not dry all the way. So there she is. On like this. So this needs to dry. So I'm going to put it up in my drying rack. It's not really going to go in the drying rack because it's a little bit, well, maybe it will fit. There we go. And then we have our little sugar skull hair combs, a pair of those. I do the hair combs as a pair because people wear them in both sides of their hair. Thank you, Dorothy. So there's our sugar skull hair combs and our circlet. I do need to make one more band circlet and a couple of my wire circlets, which take a lot more time, and I'm always off camera when I'm working on those, when I try to put them on camera, because I do tend to pull the pieces closer to me so that I can see what I'm doing better. So but I think we'll either put those little red trucks on a hair barrette, or they would have to go on the bigger hair combs. But when I say bigger hair combs, I mean these are 10 teeth rather than 5 teeth. And so let's see if we can get the little truck back out easily. Oh, there it is. It's on the, I'm just digging on the other side. So because it's a little bigger, it would fit better on this. See, like so. If I put it into a hair comb, I may decide to put it into a hair barrette. There are 2 of them. Or I could put them on alligator clips. Yes, you definitely do all the painting and things. No, you don't put the pieces together before you put them on the comb, but you do all the painting first. I do the painting, then we do the base piece that goes over the top where everything sits, and then you put your decorated pieces on the top after everything's decorated. These would make a cute little hair comb, but I think they'd make a just as pretty hair barrette, so they might become a hair barrette. Green is your favorite color, Cynthia? That's good. You like green. Green is not my favorite color, but I like it. I do make a lot of green items. So anyway, somebody asked me how much those would cost to make. Now those hair combs aren't going to be very expensive. You painted your first piece yesterday? Cool. That's excellent. The hair combs aren't going to be very expensive because the connectors were only $1. I mean, well, they were connectors before I cut their top and bottom off. The little gold filigree pieces were, I think, they're 10 cents a piece. So that's only 20 cents plus $1. And then the hair combs themselves. Ooh, how much did I pay for these? I'm going to have to pay attention to that because I'm not sure I remember how much I paid for them. They weren't very expensive. Like less than $10, but there's 3 different colors in each one, and there's a set of, there's like one, I think there's like 5 or 6 sets per color. I remember if I looked at these right. But the effect to find out how much. I should have wrote it down on these. I usually do, but I didn't this time. Some of these gold ones are really bent. I'm going to have to fix them. Teal and bronze gold. Yeah. Yeah, that would work. Sorry, I'm fixing one of these. It's bent. So there's 1, 2, 3, 5 sets for each color. So these gold ones need some repair work because they're bent, which disappoints me, but oh well. Some of them worse than others. So I can't remember exactly how much I paid for these. I'll have to find my order and get them figured out. But I know my old blanks used to be about 50 cents a piece. So I could even just say, put $1 more on here. And then, so they'd only be about $10 for the sugar skull hair combs. But Sorry, straightening these gold ones up. For some reason, a lot of these gold ones are a little bent, which has me rather disappointed. Most of my stuff comes in better shape. But looks like these were originally from China because they have Chinese writing on them on the package. So these two are still sort of bent. These are fitting together nicely, so they're better. Oh, this one's got a one of the teeth is way out of whack here. Well, it's October 1st. It's hard to believe it's already October, isn't it? But it is, and my husband has informed me that that they are shutting down the government. He works at the Park Service. He said he'd tell me what was going on when he got back home today. But in years past, like during COVID and such, he was always considered an essential employee. He's a maintenance person. And so being an essential employee, you always had to work anyway, or at least part-time, which sort of sucks, but it's the way it is. I mean, if you're not going to get paid, you shouldn't have to work. Though they'll get paid sooner or later, it's just going to be a while. Especially the essential employees. So there hasn't been when I was working, we had a shutdown for like 3 weeks. So, well, it might have been longer than that. But anyway, so hopefully things will shape up pretty quickly. There's, our wonderful government. There's some supposition between some of the workers that they're doing this on purpose so that they can get rid of some of the older workers without having to go through any channels, just not bring them back. So I'm hoping that that supposition is incorrect, because that's just not the right way to treat people. But let's face it, I don't think this government's been treating people very well anyway. So, so anyway, I don't usually get into politics, but my husband may be home after today, so we'll see what happens. October. Well, anyway, that is not an issue for us right here and now, so we're not going to worry about it anymore. We are going to... Somebody wanted to make rings. Was that you, Beth, that wanted to make rings? I'm glad you enjoyed popping in, Bonnie. I appreciate it. But yeah, the sugar skull, depending on how much these actually cost, I do have to look them up. The sugar skulls are going to be either $8 or $10 for the pair when I sell them, so not a big expense. The amazingly enough, the flat wire is actually not very cheap. It's pretty expensive, actually. I think it's like, I looked it up because actually I bought some myself before, and I think it's like almost $10 for the little piece, the thing, and you get 2 of the circlets out of these. So we're looking at a base price of $5 for the circlet, and then the little green piece that I put on it was about $0.25, and I believe the teardrops are $0.25 too. So, and then I had some. Then we have the extender chain, which is $1.40, and the lobster claw and the jump rings. The crystals are a quarter a piece. Those are those Austrian people. So, and then the cup chain. I'm going to have to look that up. I got that from Randy, and I'm not sure how much I paid for it. But I do know that this was an extra piece that I bought from her. It's probably about, well, let's say 30 cents worth of cup chain on there. So, yeah, that one's $40 for that one, probably. So not too bad. So anyway, yes, you want to make rings this week. We can make some rings. I generally just make. You love that tiny cup chain? Yeah. And the cup chain worked pretty well for me today. It was the little green piece that I had in the middle that wanted to keep coming off. But I remember, Kimberly, when you did that, was it a macrame bracelet that you macrameed the cup chain into it? That one just didn't want to behave for you at all, did it? but it does add a really pretty whimsical look to things. I really like it, so I think that one turned out really pretty. Some of them make just really really simple. I make them just really simple. I make beautiful rings. My rings are actually tend to be relatively plain. I've seen some really intricate ones. Beth has one of my more intricate ones I made from the directions in one of my books. Simple ones are the best sellers at craft shows. Yeah, I sell them if I have them made. I haven't made rings for a while. So yeah, we can make some rings because wouldn't harm me to make some more. I don't have, but I think 10 made in my craft stuff. So. Oh, you love that bracelet, but it does have a scarab on it. Yeah. Oh, speaking of scarab, I made some scarab earrings the other day with the hoops. I don't think I had it on here. I'm not going to do it today. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like making rings today, Heather. We can make them tomorrow. So we'll make rings tomorrow. I didn't have anything specifically planned for tomorrow, so rings are great tomorrow. We can do that. And we can make some pretty simple ones and maybe some more intricate ones, depending on how I feel about making them. And but yeah, we can make 2 or 3 rings tomorrow. They don't take a horribly long time for the simple ones. Sorry, I sold them. What I was going to say is that I had a little scarab hanging and some hoops, and they sold at my last show. I've been debating. I have some more scarabs, and I've been debating making some more. But you thought you'd offer. Now I don't need to take it. It's an hour and a half. I'm done. Sorry, guys. The weather has changed. My arthritis is acting up. Don't you just love that when you get older and your bones tell you, hey, you know what? The weather's going to change. Dibs if I make more? Sure, I can do that. In fact, I have to find my scarabs. I was thinking of making some more, sort of like with a double hoop, like I have made before with double hoops. So I could do that. So anyway, this has been Rose from Rose's Garden, and we're going to sign off because, well, we've been on for an hour and a half, and Heather will be on in a half hour. Are you going to make anything interesting, Heather? Or have you decided, are you going to do on the fly? Yeah, and they're quite accurate with their weather vanes. Yes, they are. Actually, I had physical therapy yesterday. My legs have been a little stiff this week because last week, because we had company here, I was in the car more than I was out. And half the time of that time I was in the back seat because there were four of us and we were taking turns on who was sitting in the front and who was sitting in the back. And you're going to do a new way of hybrid links. Fun. That might be interesting, Heather. I definitely will have to get over there and watch. And anyway, what I was saying is my knees have been pretty stiff because I was in the back seat 3/4 of the time, and we were in the car a lot. We drove down to Helena to do sapphire panning. We drove through the park twice. We'll actually make that 3 times because one of the times we went up north to Polbridge and then into Bowman Lake area, which is closer to home for us, but the road is pretty rough to get up there, but that's all right. And then we went down to the bison range. And the bison range, there is 2 short hikes you can take. We took one of them, or partial one of one. I wasn't up to doing the whole thing, but we did do a partial one of those hikes. But the bison range is one of those, the critters are outside you stay in your car place. And we did see a lot of bison, a couple of pronghorn, quite a few deer. The girls wanted to see a bear, but even in all 3 places that we might have been able to see one, we didn't, which is too bad. And but anyway, as I was saying, my knees are stiff this week because of that. And then with the rain and the thunderstorm last night, they really are they're they're really complaining at me today. So I'm going to have to do some exercises in a bit to get them to get them settled down. And you're trying to heal your scrapes. Well, I hope you do manage to do that, Beth. So anyway, I'm going to go. Like I said, my knee is a little bit achy today. I'm going to have to do some extra exercises to get the stiffness out. And anyway, my scar is looking redder than normal, a deeper color anyway. And my physical therapist said that was because it's cold. I'm like, oh, I hadn't thought about that one. So we'll see you later. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we'll see you in a half hour on Heather's channel. Bye.